All right, welcome back to the Sooner Surge, and uh, just want to say first off, thank you to all the veterans. Really appreciate you. Means a lot, so thank you. And as we get started this video, this basketball video recapping the victory last night. Uh, Before we get started, make sure you hit subscribe. Be a part of what's going on at the Sooner Surge, as we're going to be dropping a lot of video content. You want to turn your notifications on so you'll be alerted when we drop videos. But game two is over. A dominating performance, 82-43. And this team, there's a lot of good things you can see from this team. I know, listen, I know what they're playing right now. They're not playing anybody good. I get it. But this wouldn't have happened last year, okay? Not this. I mean, this year's team is so much more athletic. There's guys. Even yesterday, McCollum 3 points didn't matter. They dominated. They have so many more weapons, so many more guys that can step up. And the first guy I'm going to mention, Otega Away, seems like he's taking the next step. Jeremy.
I I agree. He's better than I thought he would be, honestly, offensively. Better scorer than I thought. We all knew he had the athleticism. We all knew he could defend at an elite level, that he could slash to the basket. The question was on his shooting and on his finishing around the basket. He's proven me wrong in that category. He's been elite. Last night, leading the way again for the Sooners and made a 3-pointer as well. I mean, the guy is showing that he's improved on a lot of things, areas that he needed to improve on. And Jay, I'm going to mention another guy that last night had just a complete 180, and that was Sam Godwin. A double double last night. And he is a guy, Jay. Look, I don't know how much he'll play as the season progresses when you get against much more difficult competition, but he is someone who should be able to get significantly more rebounds than others. I mean, he was a good rebounder last year. So I expect a guy like Sam Godwin to be able to contribute 10 boards a game. I don't know if that's too much of an ask, but last night he was great.
Well, and here's the thing with him. He's not a guy that's going to just dominate you in the low post. He's a guy that's going to get that trash basket, going to get the maybe off an alley oop or something. Double team the guard and he gets open. But it's a totally different player than when they throw Hughley out there. Hughley's been impressive too. Hughley is he really likes to just. I mean, he pushed people around. He knocked down a three yesterday at the top of the key. Um, he's very on defense. He's very physical, which I love to see. So I think he's going to be a huge help. I think those two guys are going to play kind of interchangeable. I don't. When you mentioned earlier about Godwin, I don't know how much he's going to play. I think he's going to play a lot, and I think Hughley's going. It's between them and Hughley, and they're going to probably, depending on how the game's going, is how they're going to use those guys. But very impressed with Hughley as well. Also, I mean, we mentioned the guards here because you got Milos Uzan, who he scored like a 7 points, I think. Didn't shoot a whole lot. Really hasn't shot a whole lot the first two games, which is fine. He'll get it. He'll shoot more probably as the season progresses. He's a very unselfish guy, so I love that about him. You got him and McCollum. McCollum had some wide open threes. A lot of guys had wide open threes. I think they shot 9 for 31 last night on threes. And this team zoned them most of the night. And that's why Godwin got a lot of rebounds, too, as they were playing that zone defense. But they got plenty of looks from three, and they didn't knock a whole lot of them down. And they still won by almost 40 points. That's what's impressive. I mean, but you got McCollum, Uzan, you got Soares, and you got Darthard. And Soares is a guy, when he comes in defensively, his length, big problem to people. Big problem.
Well, it's not just him. Darthard's incredibly
Yep.
long too. Uh, and this team is better in passing the ball than they were last year.
Yep.
They have 3 or 4 guys who can get 3 or 4 assists a game, which is saying a lot. Have not had that in the past as well. But you mentioned Soares. His shot is very pure. He had the three on the break where he just caught and shot. Has a very quick release. Has the height to shoot over people. Very impressive on the defensive side of the ball. Really like him coming off the bench. I think he is a great bench guy for the Sooners this year. And look, all this without possibly their best athlete, Jalen Moore, last night.
Yeah, Jalen Moore and their true freshman, Caden Cooper, didn't play as well. So very impressive. And, you mentioned Darthard, Soares. Yeah, the length on those guys is huge. And also the ability to have more than one ball handler on the court. That's a big thing. Last year, and I'll be the first to say, last year I think with Grant Sherfield, the ball kind of stuck a little bit. And sometimes he would dribble that ball for quite a while on offense, and it slowed down. Now looking back, I mean, not a whole lot to work with on last year's offense. Let's just be flat out honest. What Porter Moser has done in the portal, and even watching him coach on the sidelines, he just looks like he's really enjoying this team. He looks like, I mean, yeah, he gets ticked like he normally does at things, but you can tell. And I love, love, love the fact, and me and Brody were talking about this last night, or maybe it was me and Hunter. What they're doing right now on defense, if you watch, they're picking it up pretty much full court, kind of like a half full court type trap deal, and it's causing some problems. It's not overly aggressive, but they're doing it most of the game. Now, will they do that when they play really good teams? Will they stay in that? That's what I'm interested to see.
If they don't, then you got to question some things. I mean, the strength of this team is athleticism and length. When you have athleticism and length, you've got to extend the floor. You got to extend your defense and force teams to do things that maybe would be difficult, and thrown over the top of people's hard when you got long guys. Getting into your offensive sets is going to be very difficult against this Sooner team because of how elite they are defensively. It's not just that they can extend and that they're long. These guys are great one-on-one defenders. I mean, Uzan, Owe were two probably of the best defenders on the team last year. And then you combine that with the guys they got this year. They have the ability to go small. They have the ability to go a little bit bigger. There's just a whole lot that Moser has to do. And again, I'm very impressed with what Moser has done in changing his style, his philosophy, and in the recruiting world, what he's done and what he's brought in. But this team is definitely more fun to watch. I love how they slash. I love how they pass. I love how they get after it defensively.
Well, and one thing that's the big difference, I think, than last year is last year, if Grant Sherfield was off shooting night, you didn't have a whole lot to pick him up. I mean, this team has a lot more scorers. So if a couple people are off, they have other guys that can step up. And you mentioned recruiting, guys. If you have Twitter, go on Twitter and look up Dayton Forsyth last night, first play of the game. Highly recruited guy that OU got coming in 2020 next year. And he just took it to the rack and dunked. Okay. Guard, just unbelievable. So Porter is bringing in great players. He really is. And it's a great class last year. It's going to be a great class this year. He's bringing in the right guys. Things are changing there. But listen, we're not going to know a whole lot about this team. I do think this year's team will win the games they're supposed to win. I don't think you're going to see them slip up as much against teams they should be, just because they can out athleticize them and out talent them. I don't even know if that's a word, but yeah, they can do that. So, but I think Thanksgiving week, guys, is the big week for them. You got Iowa in the tournament, and then if you win, and then you play, I believe, Santa or Seton Hall or USC, which will be a tough matchup. So that's when we're going to find out a little more. They got 2 games this week, Tuesday night and Friday night. Get out there and support them. This team's fun to watch. It's not like the last few years at Oklahoma where it's slow down ball. It's fun to watch and very exciting basketball.
Yeah, get out there, guys. We're 4 months away from the Big 12 tournament. Yeah, seems like crazy to say that. March Madness will be here before we know it. But get out there to the LNC this week. Catch this great Sooner team and how they're playing. So till next time, guys. Boomer.
Sooner.